Welcome back, everyone, to the Stay Introverted podcast. I am your co-host, Jay Coleman.
And I'm your other co-host, Steph.
And as always, just want to take a minute. Thank you for joining us on this podcasting journey. A couple of introverts just shooting the breeze, talking stuff on a Monday.
That's right. What were we thinking making this a Monday thing? You know what? We'll get into that later.
Yeah, I don't know, but it just kind of works. Even though it's not our favorite day, it works.
It does.
It does. But speaking of Monday, or speaking of our favorite things, we're going to jump right into it and introduce our very special guest, my good friend, Ms. D. Williams. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you, Jay?
Doing great. Can't complain. I do the clap because we don't have a clapper yet. We have no budget, but we'll get one in the future. But for now, a very Stay Introverted welcome. Soul clap.
That's a very quiet clap.
Well, we're introverted, so I mean.
I love it. There you go.
Right, what are you on? That is we're on brand, and that's how we do.
But, I love it.
Yep. Yes, but with D, please tell our wonderful audience a little bit about yourself. I would try, but I'm not going to do it justice.
So my name is Dee, and I am the owner and founder of Pink Leaf Consulting, where we cater to creative introverts. So my main goal is to optimize sales and marketing strategies for my creative introverted clients that empowers them with the skills, the strategy, and the confidence to show up, to execute in a way that feels good to them and helps them reach their business goals.
That is awesome.
Sounds like something our community can definitely benefit from. So I'm really excited to chat with you and kind of pick your brain a little bit. So thanks for being here, Dee.
Thank you for having me. Anytime introverts get to unite and talk about introvert things, I'm a happy girl.
Nice. That is awesome. And I have to ask, how did you get into marketing? Because again, for me as an introvert, I look at marketing as, and again, I'm probably paraphrasing it wrongly, but trying to get as much. Okay, that's dark. Not wrong, but dark. So very accurate. I was gonna say attracting attention to yourself, which is torture. You know what, D? Why don't we just back up and now we ask the question: how did you get into marketing?
So I got into marketing. So I was in sales first, and I got a promotion to a position of director of sales and marketing. So marketing kind of was tagged on there. So I spent 13 years just doing sales. And then I got the promotion to director of sales and marketing. And so it came through my corporate experience. And I am now using those skills to support and help my creative introvert clients in my business. So yeah, it happened in corporate.
That's awesome. I'm so curious because I am, like you said, you were a social introvert before we hopped on and started recording. So were you a social introvert before you started marketing and sales, or did that help you become more social, or was it kind of like combination? Like, I'm so curious.
So I definitely was always social. So I didn't know I was an introvert until I was in college. So for me, it just was, this is how I am. I preferred to be alone. I preferred to read. I preferred quiet spaces, but I didn't know that that had to do with my being an introvert. But I definitely have always liked, getting together with my friends for, like I said, for short periods of time with just a few people. And then you can go your way. And I want to go home and not talk to you for another 6 months. So yeah, it definitely helped though in sales and marketing for sure. But even then in corporate, like I could only be social for spurts of time. And then I would be right back in my office to recharge and do it all over again.
Nice. So what made you? So what? I guess inspired you to take the business and the marketing expertise and focus it on introverts.
Because I know how hard it is for us. Like you said, to self-promote, to put yourself out there, to have the light shining on you as an introvert. No, we want to hide. Put me behind the curtain. I would refer to myself as Geppetto. Like, let me be Geppetto behind the scenes, pulling the strings. I don't need the applause. I don't need for you to celebrate me and yay and, do all of this. My preference was behind the scenes, but I was really good at it. And I made my owner, millions of dollars over the years that I was there with them. So I'm like, okay, this is something special. And if I'm a creative introvert and I can put these systems and processes in place for myself, for me to find success, I can absolutely help other introverts tap into themselves to do it too.
Nice.
I love that. Wow. And I think that's really cool because like I've seen so many sales and marketing coaches on social media, but I've never really seen anybody with a focus on introverts. So I think that's really cool. That's super helpful.
And
I'm
it
somebody,
differentiates me,
yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
we talk about marketing and the differentiators. Like, okay, you can line up 1,200, people that are teaching sales and marketing, but how many are targeting and catering to the needs of the introvert? And it's very far and few between. So I get excited about us when we're together, when we're being social for the very limited amount of time. And I just love being able to help my introverts show up in their boldness because we're experts just like everyone else. Like, we sell too, just like everyone else. We are amazing at what we do. And, we have a special skill set, I think, that even gives us an advantage, like the listening. We don't want to talk a whole lot, but we're good listeners. And everyone knows that you sell by listening. So you can sell anything by actually listening to the person you're talking to understand what their needs are and only make offerings based on that. So that also eliminates that whole salesy and sleazy piece because no, we're not going to hunt you down. We're not going to chase you down. You get on a sales call with an introvert, you say, oh, I don't want it. We're going to say, okay, I'll check back. We're not going to try and talk you out of it or talk you into it. So I just think that, there's a special skill set that we have that even helps us when some people think it hinders us.
Yeah. Most definitely. And that's something that I've learned in my short time in this business environment is that, we, like I said, we all have our special skills, our special uh, because viewpoints and areas of expertise. And just because we prefer to, or we're quieter and we're not as boisterous, I guess, it doesn't make us any less effective, um, any less valuable, or any less worthy of being successful out here in this business world. It's definitely hard. I'll say that, at least for me, just because again, the one thing that I really need attention is the one thing that is never. I don't know if I ever get comfortable with that, but it's definitely something that is important.
Yeah, I struggled with that a lot when I first started my business, especially, I'm used to in person, which I feel like most introverts prefer those one-on-one in-person interactions. So I did struggle, being behind the camera and in this online space because for the first time I had to sell me. I had to promote me. Whereas, I'm used to selling tangible things. Look at this. This is what you need. But now it's like I'm selling my IP. Like, I have to get people to believe in what I have to say and what I have to offer. And so the self-promotion was very, very hard for me. But what I was able to do was quantify my value. So now it's not about me promoting me. It's about me promoting what I can do for you and how I help you get better, how I help you make money, and how I help you show up as your best. And I know for a fact that that's what my introverts need. So that really helped me to reframe the way I was thinking. It's not about me at all. But as an introvert, it's all about us. We're in our head, we're in our space doing our things. And it really was a shift for me to look outwardly, think outwardly, and make it all about my people, which has, again, turned it off of, it's not self-promotion. I'm promoting how I serve my people. So that made it a little bit easier.
And do you think, when did you finally realize that? Like, when did that shift start to happen for you? What was your aha moment?
I started this business in 2019, and I was getting business and people were referring me, but I was sitting here like, how am I really helping my people? And I really couldn't put my finger on it. And so I was like, well, I feel like if I'm asking, I am definitely being pushy. I'm definitely being salesy. And I was like, okay, no, this is not the case. So I went back to every single person that I served in 2019. And I asked them, how did I help you? What were you able to do after we worked together? And I took that concrete information from the people that I served and said, okay, this is how I helped Jay. This is how I helped Steph. This is how I helped. And I lined it all up and I said, okay, this is what people are telling me. This is what I'm doing for them. This is how I'm changing their businesses. And then I was able to stand on that. It wasn't me saying what it was. It was coming from the people that had actually paid me that had gotten a transformation after our work. So that made it there was no stopping me after that.
Wow. I love it. And did you know in 2019, I'm sorry if you mentioned this earlier, but did you already know that you were serving introverts, or did that come like later?
It came later. So I knew that I was serving people in service-based businesses. So I knew that, I serve people that have a servant's heart, that show up for other people, that never level 5 leaders, that don't expect the applause, that don't want the applause. They want to get the job done and check it off the list. It wasn't until 2020 when I was doing my internal market research, when I wanted to niche down. And I'm like, I know there is someone else I'm supposed to be speaking to. So I actually did my internal market research and looked for similarities in every single person that I served in 2019 and 2020. And 71% of the people that I was serving was introverts. So without even calling my people out, I was already attracting them. So now all I had to do was marry my messaging with who I was already attracting. And that was all she wrote.
Awesome. That is definitely awesome. So, what's one thing I guess that you teach your clients about, being successful in this online space? Because I look at it, it's kind of, it's good and it's bad. I'm out here. I have an online clothing company, so it's easy to sell online. If you're an introvert, it's you don't really want to deal with a lot of people. Hey, this is for you. But at the same time, I do feel that a bit of that personal element is lost, and doesn't matter how introverted you are, how hands-off you want to be, you do need that to a certain extent. Like I say, you need to be able to tap into people's needs, people's pain points, and I just think sometimes it's a little bit harder doing that via a computer. So I kind of want to know, your thoughts on that.
So I always look for opportunities to connect, right? So like most introverts, I want meaningful connections. I don't care about the dew on the raindrop tips or the traffic getting here, right? I don't want to talk about all the minutia and nonsense. I want to build genuine connections. I want to cultivate community. And so I use the aspects of Instagram that fosters that, right? So I'm a big voice notes person. As you see, that, Jay, I'm a voice note person. And so it allows you to hear my aspect. It allows you to hear my enthusiasm. It makes you feel like, oh my gosh, there's a real person behind this message. So I use those things. Another thing I do is, my feed is pretty much business. It is like the 9 to 5. But in my stories, I'm going to let my hair down a little bit. You're going to see what I'm doing in the morning. You're going to see me with my coffee. You're going to see, how I'm spending my time. And that allows my people to see the more human side of me. So the stories and voice notes are 2 ways that I, bring back the human connection in this online space.
I love that. And so one thing that you mentioned is the use of voice notes. So in my own business journey, like as I've evolved over the last couple of years, the first 2 years, I was terrified of voice notes. Like people would send me them and I was like, mm-mm. And now all of a sudden I have a podcast. So it's kind of a long story, but what do you say to introverts that like hate the sound of their own voice or that feel like really self-conscious? Like how can you, I don't even remember how I took that like first little baby step, but now I like only communicate in voice notes. So how can people take that little baby step to sort of, I don't want to say like get over themselves, but like to move past that barrier, because it really does open up so many opportunities when you start to engage in that way.
You know what I tell my people, Steph? I do like this to my clients. And I say, let's take your ego, take him off of your shoulder, let's tuck him in the drawer and show up for the people that need you. Because if you think about it, I was just saying, I'm thinking, one of my thing was, right? So in undergrad, I had this communication professor that drilled into me that saying, was like the absolute worst thing you can do when you're speaking to people. And it kept me from going live for the longest time. I'm an ummer. And it's not that I'm not a subject matter expert. It's just sometimes I say, as an introvert when I'm gathering my thoughts. I would not go live at first because I'm like, I'm going to say, and my ego had me thinking that everyone that's listening to me is paying attention to see if I'm saying, nobody gave a darn if I said, or not. And so I took my ego off my shoulder, tucked him in the drawer, and I showed up on live. I said, my name is Dee. I'm a business consultant. And sometimes I say, I nipped it in the butt, done with it, tuck him in the drawer with my ego, and I'm going to show up here for the people that need what I have to give.
I love that. Yes, that's amazing.
That is awesome.
My name is Dee, and I say,
I say, the end.
Jay, that needs to be on a t-shirt.
That's the title of this episode, I think.
I think so too. There we go. Our podcast, because we're introverts, the actual episodes also double as like behind the scenes working sessions. We probably should have warned you, but like we kind of figure it out on the fly.
Exactly. You're not just in a recording, you're in a staff meeting also, just so you know.
Gotta use our energy wisely,
Exactly.
And our words.
It's all about that battery, man. You gotta preserve that energy. I will say real quick that I think it is awesome that I'm talking to the two people who send me the most voice messages. It's awesome. So I just want to thank both of you for that. This is like one long voice message, so it's beautiful.
I love it. And then I guarantee both of us are going to get off of here and send you more voice notes.
Exactly. But I joke, but at the same time, it's also help me get out of my show, because in turn, like Dee said, I send her voice messages. I'll send you one. I'll send, not 4 or 5, but eventually I'm going to start hitting. Like Steph will send me like 2 or 3 in a row, and like I'll text back. And then eventually I was like, F it, let me just talk. So it's like, in her own way, she's got to kind of get me out of my shell, which is why, I said before, I think we both play off each other very well. So I say all of that out of love and appreciation.
Oh, yeah, I love that. I love that I could do that for you.
Listen, don't get me on Voxer. At least Instagram is a 59-second message. Yeah. I'm on Voxer like a 7-minute message, okay? Not again.
Me too. My Voxer, like what's your longest Voxer message?
Probably about 6 minutes-ish.
Okay.
So yeah. I'm going to show you how introverted I really am. I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Jay, like, catch up. We're trying to get them as a sponsor.
I'm sorry. I love you. Whoever you are.
Voxer. It's called Voxer.
Yes, what she said, Voxer. I love you. Always have.
Yeah. Remember, pay us, but I do love it for work. I use it. Yeah, I do Voxer consulting. My introverts love it. Like we'll do a strategy session on Zoom, and then I'll just consult them through Voxer for the rest of our time together. Quick notes you can share. Right. We're not going to give them too much free here, but yeah, it's been a game changer in my consulting business for sure.
Yeah, because it's very, like, I've worked with many mentors and coaches, and I find like the Zoom calls to be very overwhelming as an introvert. I'm like, I can't do it. So like Voxer is like 2-minute, like a lot of coaches have like a requirement, like you can't go over 2 minutes. So that has actually taught me how to be more concise with my thoughts, because I am a rambler. I don't shut up.
Okay.
Once you get me going. But like having the option to have those voice notes and I can like just talk for 2 minutes, they can respond, and then I get my question answered. I don't have to sit there for 3 hours listening to everybody else while I forget the question that I came on to get answered in the first place.
Yeah. And I'm an introvert that hates the group chat. Like, so I am the person in the group chat that I am muting it. Like, as soon as someone starts that, I am muting it. So I don't use it for group as much, but I definitely use it for one-on-one. And I like it because I do something called content consulting. So when I work with my clients every single Wednesday, I go into their Instagram community and I consult them on the content, the things they're actually taking action on. So I might say, hey, Steph, I loved your last post. Your call to action was a little bit weak. Let's make it a little bit stronger. Since this is the phase of your marketing that you're in, next time you post it, let's change these 2 things or let's do this. So my introverts love that, in that real time feedback for what they're doing. So that's where I found the most success, like with my content consulting.
Oh, I love it. And I love that you kind of leaned into what you like and like what feels good for you. But also like, because that's so important, like that the coach and the mentor feels energetically behind the way that they're delivering the consulting.
That's a requirement. It's a requirement for me. I don't do anything in my business that doesn't align with my introverted energy. If my introvert, I talk about my introvert like it's another part of if my introvert doesn't like it or it doesn't feel good to my introvert, I'm not doing it. I just refuse to do anything. I spent 26 years in corporate sales and marketing, doing things, working with people, having no choice. So in this business, if my introvert says no, it's a hard no. I'm not doing it. And that's one of the things too, that I start with every single one of my clients. I call it a you strategy. YOU. How do you want to show up? What feels good to you? What is your capacity? What's going on in your business life? What are your goals? What have you tried? Everything is about, because it has to start with you, because you guys know if it doesn't feel good to you, you're likely not going to do it. Now, I'm all about nudging my people out of their comfort zone. Now, there's a very difference between you coming out of the comfort zone and a hard no. And I'm never going to cross that hard no line. But if you tell me, I'm open to it, I'm just uncomfortable, I'm going to nudge you in that direction. But yeah, if it doesn't feel good to me, I'm not doing it.
Absolutely. Yeah, because you're only going to drag your feet. You're going to resent your business. You're going to resent your people. So I think that's so important. It's awesome.
I have a question, Dee. How do you feel about content creation in general?
I love it.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, oh my gosh, I love it. I mean, I'm a creative, right? So I think that definitely plays into it. And also ideation is one of my zones of genius and strengths. So like you could tell me right now, Dee, this is what I want to do. And off the top of my head, I can give you 5 pieces of content. Oh, Jay, do this, do that, do this. Or I could look at a piece of content that you already posted and say, oh, you know what else you could do? Boom, boom, boom. So because ideation is one of my strong suits and strategy is a second strong suit, I'm always looking at content strategically. I'm never looking at it as anything except what it is. I think a lot of people forget that content is short for content marketing. So like the strategy has to absolutely be first and foremost. And I tell people that you can't have your content on a little content island, right? I'm a little piece of content. No, that little piece of content need to come off of its island and be cohesive with everything else that's happening in your community, podcast community, Instagram community, or wherever. So yeah, I love it, but I'm guessing you don't love it.
Steph,
no. I make Jay make all of it.
Hey, Jay, what's the hardest part? What part don't you love, or do you just not love it at all?
It's not so much that I don't like it. I will say that the thing that I like about content creation is that it's shown me just how creative I am and how creative I can be, because and that there is like I said, there is strategy behind it. I thought that when I first got into content creation, I thought just posts and reels and carousels, but there actually is somewhat of a science to it, and there needs to be a purpose behind it. So when I kind of take a step back and look at the content that I posted, I'm marveled by just how I did this. Like I look and be like, how the hell did I come up with this? And it's just cool. And then you kind of get into a rhythm where, some things are some things are just funny as hell. And I realized that I have like my own unique way of telling stories, which I actually am very good at. I'm very good at telling a story. So to be able to take an idea or a story and then actually create something behind it and put it into the world and have other people, not only understand what I'm saying, but like and save and share it. It has been awesome. I guess the thing that I don't like is just that it's an everyday thing. It's a job. It's part of what you have to do. You can't just put out a reel and then come back 2 months later thinking that everything's gonna be cool. It's like you gotta do it. Maybe not every single day, every single hour, but there has to be some level of consistency for your people. You have to show up for your people, and it can be rough because sometimes I don't have it. But I've learned that when I don't have it, I just don't have it, and I'm not gonna put something out that's not me or not what my brand stands for. Um, I've I made a choice early on that everything to the best of my ability, everything that I put out is going to be about introversion in some way, shape, or fashion. Whether it's real post, carousel, whatever, it's going to have something to do with introversion. Introversion because I want that's the story that I'm telling, and I think I was on probably a 2.5 year streak of that. I think I broke it yesterday, and the reason I broke it yesterday is because I got back on it, but I broke it out a little bit because of this whole Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef. I had to get in on it because I did, and I'm like, I got put out there. No.
That was genius. I loved your Drake acronym. I enjoyed that post thoroughly.
I was like, normally I don't do this, but you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and just say my piece and then get back to business as usual. But yesterday was just Drake and Kendrick Day. That's everything that I put out had to do with this rap beef. And I think that was the first time that I probably had it wasn't solely about my story, but that's also one of the things that I've learned in this content game is that you can kind of get a little bit out of your your core out of your core and not really damage you. So it's for me it's kind of a love hate thing, but I appreciate that it's giving me an outlet for my creativity.
So a couple of things that I'll say is I think that as introverts, because a lot of us like to read, that ties into the storytelling, right? So like I'm a person that I can get, if a book is good, I can lose myself in that book and jump right in that book. And I'm a character, just, I'm in the book. And I think that helps us with storytelling because a lot of introverts love to read. The second thing I'll say, I think that there is always a way to tie it back to your niche. So as you were talking, what I had a visual of? You with your, I call these introvert headphones. I'm not wearing them, but with your introvert headphones, maybe you're there with a book, right? Minding your introvert business. And then a visual of Kendrick and Drake. And then the carousel that you posted, right? So I'm an introvert. I'm just minding my business. But this just took me out of my introversion for a moment, and I'm going to pay attention to this. So doing something like that could have easily brought it right back to introversion. So just simple.
Damn,
simple.
she's good.
I told you, it's what I love it. I love every minute of it. Another thing is that, I think that a lot of people don't treat this like work, right? We show up on Instagram and we use it like we use our personal Instagram. And what I tell people is, no, this is your marketing department punching the clock, right? So you have your sales department, you have your fulfillment department, you have your operations department, and you have a marketing department. So when it's time for marketing to show up to work, you punch your Instagram clock, you engage, you create awareness, you make your offer, you create an opportunity to connect with you, you do what you're there to do, and then your marketing department punches out and carries on. Now you're on to operations or fulfillment. So it's not, people say, it seems like you're on Instagram all the time. I'm happy it does feel like that, but I'm not. I show up here, I do what I'm supposed to do, and then I go on my way. But I also batch my content for the days when my introvert doesn't want to come outside and play. There are plenty of days when my introvert is like, I just ain't, I don't got, like you said, I ain't got it. But I've already batched. So, okay, if I don't physically have it, I already have content that's queued up, and I like to post in the moment, right? But I also like to have a scheduler to back me up for the days where I don't want to come outside.
Yeah. And that's what well, I used to batch. I'm trying to get back into batching my content. I don't know about you too, but I pretty much I make content based on feel, just how I'm feeling. Like if I'm not feeling it, I don't make it. And it can get tough because you go 2 or 3 days without making content. It's like, oh damn, now I gotta make content. But I'm fortunate in that I've gotten to a place where I can reach back and repost stuff, and like I repost hard because yeah,
as you should.
Yeah. So
the only reason I'm not reposting right now is because I just shifted my niche a little bit. So I was speaking to a specific introvert, and now I'm speaking to a higher level of that same introvert. And so, I was speaking directly to introverts who were having trouble communicating their value. The person that I serve right now knows they're valuable. They're not having trouble communicating it. Now they're trying to find their people. And they're like, okay, what exactly do I say to attract these people to me? So my people are out of that phase. And now they're in the phase where I know my person. Tell me what to do to attract him or her to me. Tell me how to attract the people that are going to let me show up creatively to do what I'm supposed to do without breathing down my neck. Show me how to reach the people, so I'm working more on the messaging, the positioning, and those things so now it's like, I don't have a whole lot that I can repurpose, but when I get to that point, let me be clear, I will absolutely be doing that a whole lot again.
Yeah. It's I will say it definitely makes life a little bit easier, and also I look at it as just another way to test. Like there's things that because and that's another thing about content. Like you're constantly testing. That's really what it is. I think I reposted something last night. And whether it did great or it didn't do great, I want to know. Was it really that hot, or did I just post that on a Sunday when I should have did it on a Tuesday? Who knows?
Yep.
These are the things that I think about when there's no basketball on. So,
I mean, too, it is a science, and I think that I love science. I'm a nerd. I'll be the first person to say, listen, I've been a nerd my whole life. Is who I am, and I love being a nerd. But I think that people, like you said, they're not considering that marketing is a science, and it's about your controlling your variable, right? Your control is your goal. What is it that you want to accomplish? And your variables are the time of day. Maybe it's your cover. Maybe it's your call to action. Maybe it's, your hook, how you pull people in. I tell my people, if you know something is valuable because you've done your market research, you know what your people want, you know what the demand is, and you know the desires, the challenges, the fears, and the needs of your person. If you know a piece of content should have done better than it did, go ahead and A/B test it. Change one thing about it and put it back out there, and then go and look at the data, and then change one more thing and put it back out there, and then look at the data. Because really, if your people aren't responding to it, why? There's no reason to do it. And like that's especially with call to action. Say, okay, how many times are you going to tell people to comment below? People aren't commenting below. Let's try something else. Right? We're not just making call to actions for the sake of making call to actions. We are literally trying to call our people into action. If they're not taking the action that you're calling them into, try something else. It's not working.
Right. Yeah, that was something I struggled with a lot. Like back when I was before I shifted into just the podcasting niche. I struggled so much with the call to action stuff. It just felt so forced and so like just not me. And the thing was, it wasn't me, and that's why it wasn't working. So what do you say to introverts who are like just at their wits' end? Like they're like white knuckling their way through their business and they're trying all the things and it's not working. Like, how do you get around that, I guess?
I tell them to tell me what your strategy is, and I guarantee you 9 times out of 10 there's not one.
That was my problem.
I could tell.
You're right.
Because if you have a strategy, you're never going to question your call to action, right? So if you are in the generating buzz phase of your strategy, you're telling people about it. So the only thing you want them to do is stay connected to you to hear more, right? If you are in the phase of marketing where you're generating leads, you want to know if people are interested in your thing. So you're asking them to opt into your lead magnet or to join your email list, right? If you're in the phase where you're nurturing, you just want people to stay connected or share it with a friend or save this for later. That's going to be your call to action. And if you're at the point of your marketing when your cart is open and you're actively selling, you're telling them to grab it now. So the thing is
so helpful.
Yeah, as you move through every phase of marketing, you want your people to do something different, and your call to action is always going to align with what your strategy tells you you're trying to do.
Right. Yeah, and now it's so easy to add a call to action because it's just go listen to my podcast. Like that's all I care about. Just go do that.
Subscribe to the podcast. Tell me what your favorite episode was. It could be
right.
And I think too, a lot of people think that call to action has to be about buying. That's the misconception. That like, I don't want to have to tell people to buy on every post. Well, why would you if your cart's not open? You're not telling people to buy. Are you selling all the time? Because that's not how it works either.
Right. Right. Yeah, it could just be as simple as a question, or like tell us what you think, or tell us what you feel about blah blah blah. I'm saying this like I'm a marketing expert.
No, but you're absolutely right. And I'm not a marketing expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I personally found that the most effective call to action for me has been asking people what they think, or asking people how do you feel about something. That really has nothing to do with asking them to spend money. It's like, here's what I think about this. Here's what I'm showing you. What do you think about this? Do you agree? Do you not agree? I've gotten the most feedback and most engagement on those types of posts and those types of that type of content, and it's helped me because I can take that and actually study it and say, hey, okay, these people think X, Y, Z. I can let me make content around this. Let me make a product around this. Let me market around this and serve them that way. So the call to action for me that are most effective really have very little to do with actually having them spend money. It's weird, but it works.
And what I find, like, my introverts don't want to be on Front Street, right? So anytime I've made the call to action, comment below to blah. Introverts are like, I'm not commenting below. I'll send you a DM. Like, they don't want to be out here on Front Street. So I don't make that call to action. If you feel moved to comment. But my call to actions are almost never to comment. So today I posted a reel and it said, join me in my stories where I elaborate a little bit more. It was like my 4 favorite features of Instagram as an introvert. So that call to action was just to pop on over to my stories. Now my stories is where I nurture my people, right? That I make a ton of sales in my stories and in the DM. So strategically, I want you to pop on over here so I can nurture you, get to know me a little bit. There will be a link on the very last slide, but that was my call to action.
See, for me, like my comments be crazy sometimes. But it's cool because it's like, wow, I guess on the flip side, you have all these introverts who normally wouldn't talk out in the comments commenting. And like it's got to the point where I don't even have to ask them. I just know I'm gonna get however many comments. But to your point, is because you trained them to do so. You show them for your people so that they know, hey, if I say something, he's gonna say something back, and I do. I talk to my people, so my people talk to me. But some of them comments is just like 2 old friends just chatting. It's hilarious.
and you love it. Like, I never met this person a day in my life, and I feel like I did. You're my friend. You're my friend in these comments.
Oh, I got people from like day one still commenting on stuff, and I'm like, that's awesome. Because it's awesome. I have, I guess, one last question about content. Have you encountered people who, at least in the beginning, think like the sole purpose or the main purpose, I guess, of content is to go viral, and like, how do you kind of steer them away from that? Because I'll be honest, I've been fortunate enough to, I guess, go viral. And I don't even know what that means. Yes.
Fortunate. It's stressful. It's so stressful.
Not for me.
I don't know. I don't like when it happens.
For me, it's not. But it's not my intent in this to ever to do that, just because I've, out of the handful of times I've gone viral, maybe one of them has made me money. So it's like, it's just
that people that are interested in going viral still have their ego on their shoulder. And it's not about their people, because like going viral, okay, you can go viral. How many of those people are the people that you want to serve? How many of those people are going to be in your niche? And like you said, how many of those people are going to spend money with you? My thing is, if you have a post that goes viral, I expect for you to have content that can get you a sale, right? So it's like, okay, this post went viral. So when they come back to your community, what is going to happen? Are you going to be able to draw in the people that are supposed to be here? Or are you going to go viral and then 500 people unfollow you because they only followed you because they thought that this was the thing? And some people chase that. I know that those are not my people, that are chasing the virality, because like you said, what does it do for you? What does virality do for your business? Does it get more eyes on you? Of course, right? But how effective is it? What is it really doing for your business at the end of the day? I don't know anyone that's gone viral that has really capitalized on it revenue wise.
Yes, it is not a business strategy. It really is not.
Yeah. I think I get very stressed because I get overwhelmed when I have too many notifications. So, I mean, it might be a me problem, but like, I can't be the only introvert that feels that way. Like, when I see like the comments popping off, like, part of my own strategy is I respond to almost every comment. Like, if you take the time to comment, I'm gonna respond to you. So when I have posts that have 200, 300, 400 comments, I'm like, like,
that,
this is scary.
Like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah, so it's I find it very overwhelming. So anytime one of my posts starts popping off, I'm like
like, my people don't care about, they don't want volume, right? My people want a core group of people that will become ambassadors, that will refer them. They want to know the people they're doing business with. So I think if you have a volume-based business where you're looking to do hundreds and thousands of people, people want to increase their rates. They want to offer a premium product or service, and they want a core group of people. Of course, we want new people, but retention is a big deal for us introverts too, right? We want these people to continue coming back. We all know that it costs much less to retain a customer than it does to acquire a new one. So most of my people
not to mention it's less energy.
Hello. That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
A huge part of it. And that's, how I was most successful. Like in corporate, I had clients that stayed with me for 20 years. 20. Two of them, actually. One was 24 years and one was 20 years. And that, I think, speaks volumes too of the quality of the work. And those are the people that will tell people, that will shout from the rooftops. And, that's what I'm looking for. I want ambassadors for my business. I want my people to feel great about telling someone. And you can't feel great about that if you don't really know me, if you don't really know the brand,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you only had to do the work once to get them on board, and then they were with you. So
keep my promise, do what I say I'm going to do, and anticipate their needs. Right? I think that's the biggest part. Like, I'm going to anticipate your needs. Before you tell me out your mouth, I've already thought about it, because it's my job to stay 2 steps ahead of what you're going to tell me you need.
I like that. Yes, I need that. I need that repeat business. That's how I get your money. I want to come back.
Lifetime value. I mean, like I said, it speaks volumes to how you service your people. If you keep coming back to me, that means I'm doing something right.
Nice.
Yep.
True. So I have one more question for you, Dee, before we start to like wrap it up.
Sure.
When I first started my brand, I tried to fight my introverted nature so hard. I tried to be like Miss Extra, Miss like over enthusiastic about like whatever I was selling back then.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so obvious that it was somebody else feeding me lines. Like that's in hindsight why I always struggled to sell.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until I embraced my introverted nature that I really started to find like what direction I wanted to head in and where I was meant to be in this online space. So
Mm-hmm.
what do you tell the people that are trying to fake it?
I mean, it just takes, and you guys know this, it takes so much energy to show up like someone else. And by the time you finish showing up like this other person, you actually don't have the energy to sell or do, what you're here to do. And I think that, people just have to know that you can make money as yourself, right?
You make more money that way.
You make more money that way. There's going to be people that you attract and people that you repel. The people you repel aren't your people. The people that the real you attracts are the people you want to be in fellowship with anyway. So I just refuse to show up as anyone else. And I tell my people, listen, if I can tell you're faking it, no, we're going to go right back to the drawing board. Nope, that wasn't you. Why'd you say that? Why do you feel that? If you can't tell me why you feel that way, we're not going to do it, because it's about your experiences, your point of view, and your lane. We're never going to have you doing anything that is not true to who you are as a person and introvert. And that's why I say I help my people create strategies that align with their introverted personality, their business, and their life, because it has to start with you. The real you, the authentic you, the only way we want to show up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's already a lot of energy being us. Like, why would you want to also be somebody else? That's a lot of work.
I don't have the energy to be anyone else. And I don't want, listen, I am so vocal about my introversion. I mean, strangers know I'm an introvert. Oh, you're not, I'm an introvert. Like, it's like, oh, we just had this. Do you want to go? No, I need to go recharge. Like, it has been so liberating to just be open about my introversion. And it's also educating people. So many people have no idea what introversion is. They have in their mind that we're shy, that we don't like people, that we don't talk, that we can't do this. No. It's not about that at all. So a lot of it is even just educating people about the introvert that I am and what I need to be my best. Like, I know I co-worked with my business bestie earlier today until 2:30. From 2:30 until about 4:00, I didn't talk to another person. I quietly sat here in my office with my introvert headphones on and listened to my introvert playlist. That's a playlist that I do when I need to charge up or if I need to recharge. And that's what I need to show up here and have this high energy for y'all, right?
I love that for you. Yes.
Yeah. Just for you. I love it for you.
I'm mad she thought that. Anyway.
What I do for a living, Jay?
I appreciate that.
She listens, Jay.
The introvert playlist is a must-have. I'm trying to reestablish my own. Yes.
Oh yeah.
The introvert playlist.
I have,
talking about
and
this for like a year.
I need to come out with it because it keeps evolving in my head. Like, because introverts are not, we're not all one thing. So it's like I got a general playlist. I got like a chill playlist. I got a work playlist. I got hip hop, R&B, rock. Like I got like 17 playlists in my head, and nothing like actually out there.
Jack, I have a wind up playlist. I have a wind down playlist. I have a playlist before I coach and consult. And I have a morning wind up playlist when I'm really trying to get there. I have like 5 different playlists in my Apple Music, depending on what needs to happen in my introvert world. So I'm with
cool.
you.
I appreciate that. It's not just me.
Oh.
So I have one last question myself, which in true introvert fashion probably should have been the first question, but that's how I am. That's how my mind works. How did you come up with the name of your company, Pink Leaf Consulting?
So just in case you couldn't tell, pink is my favorite color. I also you couldn't tell, right?
That's crazy.
It's so hard to tell.
It's crazy, kid.
I serve women, and it's a little bit more. I told you I'm a nerd, right? So it's a little bit more scientific than most people think. So in the leaf, that is where photosynthesis happens, right? Photosynthesis is the lifeblood of every plant. It is what has to happen for that plant to thrive and live and replicate itself, right? And so Pink Leaf Consulting, because I'm teaching my people how to sell and market, and those are the lifeblood of every single business, that is why it's called Pink Leaf. And then consulting is just a consulting part.
I'll take it back. That question is exactly where it should be, because that's exactly how you end an episode. Let's go.
I love it.
Let's go. Let's go. This is when I'm most energetic at the end of the episode. Because it's over.
Because it's over?
Again, I am nothing if not on brand. All right, Steph.
3 introverts.
All right.
Steph, do the thing.
All right, so Dee, before we wrap up, is there anything that you want to plug? Any promos that you have going on? Anything people should know about?
Sure. So if you are a creative introvert and you are listening to this episode and you have the ideas, you know who you serve, but all of your ideas are floating around, jumbled up in your mind, and you need help getting them out of your head and into a plan of action, I want you to visit with me at Pink Leaf Consulting on Instagram, where you can learn about my 1-hour sit and strategize, where I will help you with the focus, clarity, and empowerment to show up as your true self to reach your goals.
Love it. Well, Dee, it was such a pleasure to have you. Guys, definitely go check out her content. I think that she obviously has shown how much she can help all of us introverts with our marketing and our sales. But if you guys love this episode, be sure to rate it, review it, share it with a friend, all that fun stuff. And of course, follow us on Apple, Spotify, obviously, wherever you get your podcast. I'm never gonna know that. Maybe I will. But anyway, have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will catch you next Tuesday as well with another awesome episode of the Introverted Podcast.
Thank you, y'all. Thank you, as always.